Hello everybody and welcome to our very first video for Dai Gyakuten Saiban 2. At last, I know it took me a while, but Spirit of Justice Case 5 was pretty dang long. Like, by far, on record right now, I think it's the longest Case 5 I've had to deal with. I thought Case 5 of, Investigation 2 was pretty long, but Case 5 SOJ was ridiculously long. So, here we are again at last. We are now starting to tackle Dai Gyakuten Saiban 2. In this video, we're not doing Case 1, we are actually starting with one of the DLC episodes. So there's 2 DLC episodes you can get, and they are both pre-order only so far. I don't know if there's any other way you can get them right now. I haven't seen a means to get them yet. Someone can correct me on this, but as far as I'm aware, these particular episodes you only got through pre-ordering. So one of them is from the Japan side, which is playing from the perspective of Asogi, and then there's the one on the British side, which is sort of played from Sherlock's perspective, but not really. We don't really get to see in his inner thoughts, which is kind of unfortunate, but it involves Sherlock and Baroque, obviously. We're not doing that one. This one will be much later on down the line when we get into DGS 2. We're gonna be tackling the Japan side DLC, which, if this is canon, I'm not sure. It's another one of those cases of it could be or could be not. I feel like the Japan one is at least canon. It feels like it fits in the timeline pretty well. This is between Case 1 and Case 2 DGS 1, so nothing is being spoiled here. It happens after the Rants magazine episode 1. I don't know, maybe a few days after the trial, I would say. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if this is gonna take 2 videos or 1. I feel like this might take 2 videos to get through, but we'll see. So this is what we're gonna do first, and once we finish this episode, we will start on Case 1 of DGS 2. And then after that, I have to go back to SOJ again because I still need to do the DLC episode on that at the time of this recording. So I do need to get it back. I need to finish it, finish it properly. And as soon as I finish the DLC episode, I will come back and continue the rest of DGS 2. So this, if you aren't watching my streaming version of this, that was my first playthrough of the game. So there were a lot of pauses. There were a lot of me trying to proofread the script, and also just a lot of crying and being very emotional. So this one will cut out most of it, and there will be more text translations for anything like comes up, like evidence and stuff like that. This will be the LP for this. This will besides this introduction, this will mostly cut out all the extra stuff, and you're just gonna go right through. We're gonna go right through and get it done. So let's go ahead and get it going right now. I'm so excited because I am not against going through this game again. This game has been fantastic, and I'm very proud that it managed to get nominated for Game of the Year for Famitsu. I don't know if it won. When I recorded this, the nomination, it was still a nomination. Like, nothing was really official yet, but I'm still proud of this game for making that nomination. Okay. It is December 2nd, 8:47 in the morning in the Supreme Court Defendant's Lobby number 3.
I found myself in a rage that morning. To think that my best friend would be made to suffer like this, not once but twice. Naruhodō!
Sogi! Thank goodness you made it in time.
Yeah, I had to take a steamship and then transfer to an overnight train, and I just got here.
Oh, I'm so relieved. I was afraid you wouldn't make it. Also, I apologize. It has been a while since I played voiced these roles, so, I just came out of SOJ, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty on some of these guys. I don't know what to do anymore.
Quit your complaining, Naruhodō. When I say I'll be somewhere, then I will. That goes double for when it's for a friend in need.
Asogi.
This is my friend, Naruhodō Ryūnosuke. He's my classmate at Yume Imperial University. He found himself in the defendant's chair in this very court 10 days ago, as a suspect in a certain murder case. In spite of only being a student, he managed to prove himself innocent. And in spite of having been the defendant, he succeeded at the feat of providing his own defense.
Come on, Asogi. That wasn't thanks to any skill of mine. It was all because I had an outstanding student defense attorney at my side.
What are you talking about? Your defense was nothing short of stunning. As I stood at his side that day, it became incredibly clear to me that you have real talent as a defense attorney.
Well, personally, I never thought I'd stand in court again, but here we are. You must be tired after your long journey, Kazuma-sama.
Ah, Legal Aid Mikotoba. Thanks for your telegram. Another complaint was filed. Stop. Return at once. Stop. Trial at 9 a.m. on the 5th. Stop. Naruhodō. I wasn't sure what the Naruhodō at the end meant, and wasted about 2 minutes wondering about it though.
I'm very sorry. I simply sent the contents just as Naruhodō-sama wrote them. Hey, come on! We're friends, right? You should have realized right away that it was my name.
Isn't your name Naruhodō?
The U wouldn't fit. If your telegram is longer than 30 characters, the price to send it goes up by 2 zennies. And Naruhodo's a cheapskate.
Thanks to you being a cheapskate over 2 zenny, I had to waste 2 minutes of my precious time.
I'm glad to see you two getting along as well as ever. Good friends.
This is Mikotoba Suzato. She's an outstanding legal aid. She's always providing assistance to me when I'm acting as a defense attorney. She's a reliable ally, whom I trust from the depths of my heart.
Truly, those are words of highest praise.
The day after my friend Naruhodō Ryūnosuke's trial ended, I boarded a steamship in Yokohama bound for Shikoku. I figured I ought to say goodbye to everyone at the Asogi main house before I finally depart for the Great British Empire. I received a telegram there and hurried back right away aboard an overnight train in order to assist my friend.
What a good pal. Kazuma-sama. Does the fact that you're here this morning mean that you read over the complaint?
To be precise, I didn't arrive this morning, but just now. This was delivered to my house, but I still haven't broken the seal.
What? Does that mean you don't...
Yeah, I hardly know anything about the charges in this case. All I heard was that the prosecutor in your case the other day raised an objection to your verdict 3 days after it was handed down, and raised additional charges.
He sure did. Personally, I can't help thinking there must...
Say no more, Naruhodō. I'm fully aware of the situation.
Are you? Huh?
I heard that as a result of the trial the other day, Prosecutor Ouchi's reputation came under major fire. I'm sure these additional charges are the prosecutor's attempt at revenge.
Did you say revenge?
I'm sure he's trying to make trouble for us with some worthless conjecture or something.
How concerning. But I think I kinda understand how that prosecutor must be feeling.
What?
I mean, he was defeated by a mere student in a trial that all these powerful people had gathered to watch.
Honestly, this is precisely why the judicial system in this country can't be trusted.
Asogi?
Using the Supreme Court to harass a student. It's an outrage is what it is. Those who wield the name of the law to harm others are no better than criminals themselves.
That's true. The coercive tactics of the prosecutor's office has been subject to criticism in the newspapers recently. The indictment against me in the last trial was pretty coercive, wasn't it? To be honest, I've been having trouble trusting the police since all that. Oh.
But, unfortunately, the police and prosecutors aren't the only ones who aren't trusted by the general population. We defense attorneys aren't much better off.
Seriously?
Sounds like you haven't been keeping an eye on the papers recently, have you, Naruhodō?
No, I haven't been. I've been in no position to be sitting around reading the paper lately. I purchased a copy of this morning's paper. Is this the article you're referring to? Lauded defense attorney arrested. It's all over the front page.
Yeah, I might have guessed you know about it, Legal Aid Mikotoba. You never let your guard down, do you?
Apparently, a defense attorney attempted to bribe a member of the judicial system. I see. So there's bribery going on, huh? That's pretty bad.
It was only recently that our country established a defense attorney system. We're looked down on as sophists, and our social standing is still pretty low. We're still in the process of trying to earn the citizens' trust, and misconduct like this happens. You'd better at least read this, Naruhodō.
I don't like reading the paper. Do you like reading the funnies then? Like Phoenix Wright? Though, considering his grim perspective of, like, everything, maybe that's why he doesn't like reading the papers, because usually reading the papers is pretty depressing. Also, can I just point out that Susato is actually looking in his direction? Like, her eyes, it's so minor, but it's such a nice touch.
You should read it even if you don't like it. You're a university student of the Imperial City too, after all. What?
How is it that you always manage to be able to tell what I'm thinking so easily?
It's because you always mumble your thoughts to yourself.
These two are true friends. Newspaper article. This morning's paper contains an article about a lauded defense attorney having been arrested.
In any case, I don't know what sort of claims that prosecutor is spewing now, but I'll be behind the defense bench today. You alright with that, Naruhodō?
Huh? But isn't that—
Say no more, Naruhodō. I'm fully aware of the situation.
Are you really sure about that?
You refused to let me defend you in your trial 10 days ago. I understand the intent behind that considerate decision of yours, but I'd at least like to take care of all the loose ends myself.
But Kazuma-sama—
Say no more, Legal Aid Mikotoba. That prosecutor is no match for me. I'll get you out of this for sure. Just leave it to me.
I don't know, Asogi. Maybe you should have read what was in that envelope. There's something I should confirm with you. Defendant! It's time for court to convene. Proceed to the courtroom at once.
Sounds like it's time. I'll be counting on you, Legal Aid Mikotoba.
Certainly.
Don't make that face, Naruhodō. We'll meet again later, my friend. In the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Alright. They're so unsure right now. I'm unsure too!
I'm Asogi Kazuma. I'm a second year at Yume Imperial University, and a defense attorney qualified to stand in court. And, next month, I'll cross the Great Ocean to the Great British Empire, to finally fulfill my lifelong dream. As a legal studies exchange student, to study the cutting-edge developments of the British judicial system. This will probably be my last trial in Japan for a while.
Last trial, huh?
This time, I'll be the one to rescue my friend from danger.
If you say so, Asogi, but we all know better. It's unfortunate what happens. It's the same day at 9 a.m. in the Supreme Court, courtroom number 1. I now declare the court to be in session.
The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready.
Ready, eh? It appears that the little student is aware of the greatest principle of the Supreme Court.
What do you mean?
There are no women permitted in the Supreme Court. That means you, standing there with that composed expression on your face. Don't try to play dumb. Get out right this instant.
Now that's just rude.
If you'll permit me, I heard that this trial is in regards to a personal complaint made by you, Prosecutor Aochi-sama. What of it? For such a trial to be held in the Supreme Court is highly irregular.
That was permitted as a one-time special case.
So, since it's a special case, I'd like to be accepted as a female legal aid just for today. Ridiculous, as if we...
Very well, we'll grant special permission.
What?
Legal aid Mikatoba is a force to be reckoned with.
Don't mess with Mikatoba. After all, this is a special trial. Let's not quibble over details. Now then, more importantly, Asogi Kazuma.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't tell me you plan to act as the defense in today's trial.
Yes. We intend to obliterate whatever conjecture the prosecution dares toss at us.
Conjecture, you say?
Prosecutor Aochi. It appears you don't understand your own position.
Oh?
A conclusion was clearly reached in Naruhodō's trial 10 days ago. The true killer admitted to her crime. The case is over. You ought to be highly aware of that yourself.
It would seem that we finally arrived at the conclusion of this trial. Do you have anything to add, Prosecutor Aochi?
This is ridiculous! How could I, the Honorable Aochi, be defeated by these novice college students? Yes, I suppose such a farce did occur. However, it appears the one who doesn't understand his own position is you, little student boy.
What?
For starters, I'm not sure someone who hasn't even read the complaint is qualified to stand behind the defense's bench.
How did he...
Kazuma-sama, perhaps this is impertinent of me, but I strongly advise that you confirm the contents of the complaint now. It's recorded in the court record.
The court record. I can view information about the evidence by touching the court record button. Maybe I should take the opportunity to check it over once.
No matter where Final goes, whenever he voices Asogi, he has to deal with tutorials. Anyway, court records! Okay, I think this is it. So, I have translations for this stuff, so I will put them up for you in a little bit. So the defendant in question of this case, is, Asogi himself. I think he really should have probably checked on that. Maybe. Just a thought. Let's examine this paper. Oh my god, this name again. Soldenoshita. The Imperial... Do you want me to read this? You know what? Whatever, I'll read it, okay? Law defense attorney arrested. The Imperial Police arrested Soldenoshita Tadashi, a defense attorney currently active in the Supreme Court, last night. According to our sources, the charge is bribery of a judicial system official, and it's likely that a secret investigation was being carried out by the prosecution before the fact. I have profiles too. Fantastic. There's still 23 in this, because it's DGS1 timeline. Naruhodō Ryūnosuke, my best friend and classmate at the university. He got caught up in a murder case the other day, but he proved his own innocence. Mikatoba Susato, an outstanding legal aid who assists me when I'm defending. I trust her completely. Bless. Aochi Takasuchi, the prosecutor in charge of this case. The fact that he also handled the prosecution in Naruhodo's trial the other day and lost is still fresh in his memory. Okay.
So, now that you've read the complaint carefully, why don't we hear the student boy's answer? Let's start by having you state the name of the defendant in this trial.
It's incredibly obvious. It should go without saying. The name of the defendant, the one being charged in this trial, is...
So my options are Naruhodō Ryūnosuke, Mikatoba Susato, and Kazuma Asogi. My translator gave me all the options, so we're gonna go through every one of them. So the first one is Naruhodo.
I shouldn't even need to say this, but it's obviously Naruhodō Ryūnosuke.
You shouldn't even need to say this,
He may be kind of scatterbrained and pretty careless, but... he hasn't hurt anyone. That's already been proven.
If your friend is kind of scatterbrained and pretty careless, then I suppose that makes you pretty scatterbrained and really careless.
What?
The court can't help being astounded by the defense's scatterbrained carelessness.
What's going on here?
What's going on here? You're in control of a person who likes to embarrass you.
Kazuma-sama, please, go ahead and read the complaint. Touch the court record button right away, for goodness sake.
I've never seen Legal Aid Mikatoba look so desperate before. I'd better touch the court record button and check the information on the evidence.
Now then, the defense will present his answer once more.
So, now that you've read the complaint carefully, why don't we hear the student boy's answer? Let's start by having you state the name of the defendant in this trial.
It's incredibly obvious. It should go without saying. The name of the defendant, the one being charged in this trial, is...
Mikatoba Susato?
I suppose the answer would be Mikatoba Susato.
Thank you for all you've done for me so far, Kazuma-sama. I think I'll board a train and set out on a journey now.
No! That's not what I meant. It's just that the fatigue of rushing to the Supreme Court this morning from the trains...
The defendant is the person the charges are being raised against.
the court would ask you two youngsters to continue your bittersweet argument out in the lobby.
I wish I could undo all this and start over from the lobby myself.
I mean, technically, I could just save and reset. Gonna skip this. It's just asking for the court record again. Alright, we're skipping through this, and we're gonna go right to the next thing. It's the same thing over again, so... Alright, the real answer is... Hosogi Kazuma.
The defendant's name is written right here at the very top of the complaint. Naturally, the one being charged is Hosogi Kazuma.
Yes, Hosogi! Good job, you got it! I'm so proud of you.
Hosogi Kazuma? As I recall, the name of my best friend is Naruhodō Ryūnosuke.
Wow! Wow! That's just me! God damn it, Hosogi.
That's precisely right. The one being sued today.
Me?
Order! To be honest, I was awfully surprised myself when I saw the complaint. Incidentally, the crime he's being charged for appears to be assault.
You do well to think back, student. Think back on what happened after the scene you recalled earlier.
After?
It would seem that we finally arrived at the conclusion of this trial. Do you have anything to add, Prosecutor Aochi?
This is ridiculous! How could I, the Honorable Aochi, be defeated by these novice college students?
You would do well to think long and hard about your prosecuting career from this point on.
Naruhodō Ryūnosuke!
Yes.
The Aochi clan will never forget my grudge towards you!
The prideful will be tripped up by the young. History has proven that to us. You do well to engrave what you feel in this moment upon your heart.
This never gets old.
May your descendants do battle with the Naruhodos for 100 years, and never triumph.
Regardless of what that Hicks student's verdict was or whether the case was resolved, none of that matters. It has nothing to do with these charges. You can't mean... There's only one important point here, and that's that my signature shaved top knot was shaved clean off!
Wow. And that's what you mean by assault?
It certainly is.
You gotta be kidding me.
He's got that katana hanging from his hip right now for starters, Your Honor. Slashing at someone inside the Supreme Court with a katana is quite reckless assault. Those who practice violence against others are literal criminals, are they not? Actually, that scene occurred just as the trial had already ended. It's only now that I can confess. And at that time, my knees were trembling, and it took everything I had to just remain standing. Oh, and yet! Poor Aochi still had to experience the pain of having his shaved top knot shaved right off. Is it even possible for him to have overdone it any more than he'd already did? No, it's not!
Well...
Actually, I have a son as well who is around your age. But he doesn't go swinging a katana around in his classrooms.
Now that you say that, I think it over. That final blow might indeed have been completely unnecessary. So much damage!
Remember that, as you stand there with your coolly fluttering headband as usual. Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
There's something about this that's hard to swallow, but... I can't really deny that drawing my katana was going kind of overboard, I guess. I apologize deeply. I won't do it again.
Oh. That's extremely humble of him!
Kazuma-sama.
Well, the defendant has just bowed his head graciously and politely in apology. So I see no reason why we can't consider this matter...
One moment, please, Your Honor. If this sort of thing could be resolved by simply apologizing, we would have no need for the Supreme Court.
What?
Bringing a katana into the courtroom is a crime, and cutting me with it was a crime. And there's one other crime he's committed that's worse than both of those. It's the fact that I can never again regrow my top knot because of him. That's the real crime.
I can't believe this.
In light of all this, the prosecution calls for a sentence of 6 months hard jail time.
Really?
What? 6 months in prison?
I'm not sure about the bit regarding the regrowable top knot, but if a defense attorney were to damage something after drawing his katana in court and going on a rampage, then 6 months jail time is a very reasonable sentence for this offense.
Come on now, I really don't think what I did counts as a rampage. How can this be happening? Damn that prosecutor Ouchie, to think he'd actually request jail time.
Well, I suppose the fact that you bowed your head graciously and politely in apology means that you accept the prosecution's charges.
Well...
You mustn't, Kazuma-sama. If you do that, your upcoming participation in the Legal Studies Exchange program will be cancelled. It seems as though the defense has no objections. In that case, Your Honor, I'd say it was high time you handed down a verdict. If you permit me, Prosecutor Ouchie-sama, the defense has no intention of admitting to the prosecution's claim.
Legal aid Mikotoba.
Oh? A mere legal aid speaking out during a trial.
What do you mean, legal aid?
Yes, Your Honor, even if he did swing his katana around in here like crazy...
Like crazy?
Regardless of how long the blade is, it couldn't possibly have reached the prosecutor's bench. In other words, Prosecutor Ouchie-sama's claim is nothing more than conjecture. It sounds as though we're destined to be at odds forever, just as I thought.
This must mean that the prosecution has prepared a case, is that right? A case proving that what Asogi Kazuma committed was assault.
Of course! We have perfect testimony and perfect evidence. The trial is only just beginning, Your Honor.
Very well, in that case, the court requests that the witness who will prove Asogi Kazuma's crime be shown into the courtroom.
I shall see it done with pure joy.
Of course you would.
I wondered what sort of pointless case this would be. But if I lose this, the path to the Great British Empire will be closed to me. If this is a dream, I wish someone would wake me up right now.
Ah, Sogi. Alright, we're gonna have to stop here. So yes, it looks like we're gonna have to do more than one video to get this through. So I'm hoping we're only gonna need one more video to finish this, but we'll see. So we'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
As I stood at his side that day, it became incredibly clear to me. I was going to lose my status as the main protagonist, so as you could tell, I was scared shitless. It's incredibly obvious. It should go without saying. Even though we're doing this a second time, and we're going to do this a third time because Taisa likes to torture Asogi.